shift the way you lead, the way you live. Clarity, courage, change. Because your next level won't wait. This is Monday Mindshift. The clarity you've been craving. The shift you didn't know you needed. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Monday Mindshift. Missed you guys last week, but I was on a plane traveling back to Guatemala, so I was unable to host or even get the message out. So hopefully you all forgive me. I'm sure you will if you're here. I realize right now, probably there are a lot that are still over listening to Leslie and
Hello, everyone, and welcome.
Stanley Green. Oh, I guess not. I guess some people have already migrated over. So welcome. Happy Monday. Happy New Year. Because I think I said that. I think I've had one. Let's see. Yeah, I had one just before I left, which was New Year. But anyway, let me say it again. Happy New Year. Welcome to Monday Mindshift. And I'm very excited to share. Happy MLK Day, Liana, William. Grateful. And William, let me just say this. Thank you for sending that message privately and, educating, but share it publicly because, it's worth saying. And that's part of my mission is because I've seen in life as humans, we can be vile to each other. To me, I have a everybody matters. I don't care where you're from, what you look like. You matter just for existing. So, before I start the teaching, I want to share how powerful last week was in San Diego, or the week before that, because it's been 2 weeks now. It was amazing. We came together and we had entrepreneurs, CEOs, nonprofit leaders from all around the world. There was me from Guatemala. There was another person who came up from Australia. We came together. We connected at a very, very deep level, like nothing I've ever had. And thank you, William, for sharing that here. Um, Shine your light, sir. Shine your light. We came together at a deep level that I've never experienced in a live event like that before. It was so amazing. We collected over $100,000 in 2 days. Basically, different entrepreneurs were able to present an offer, and it was bid on by auction style, with 40% of the money going to charity. And specifically, we were supporting You Are Enough. So I'll share this. You Are Enough was founded by Blake Mykowski, who originally founded Tom's. And if you're not aware, of course, Tom's Shoes was the first company to do a one-for-one giving campaign. Every pair of shoes that someone bought, a pair was donated to someone who couldn't buy shoes, who needed shoes. Blake built the company, got it very, very successful. Lisa, welcome. And then he exited. So he had everything. Like, he was successful. He built this really successful company, did a lot of good in the world, had everything he could want, right? Bank account, home, all of it, all the trappings of success, right? But he and Meryl, good to be here. Good to have you here in the midst of snowstorms and cold. I like to freeze in San Diego with temperatures. No, 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 you're not a charity, William. I'm sharing the charity that we supported at the event. And so anyway, Blake's story was he exited, he went into a very, very deep depression and actually thought about ending his life. Thankfully, he did the work, he got help, but he realized that there was this underlying wound from early in his life that he didn't feel like he was enough. So he started You Are Enough to support mental health organizations and to remind people you're enough. So, Leanna, Lisa, Annie, Meryl, William, anybody else who's watching who hasn't commented yet, let me just remind you you are enough. And I want to share the poem that was in this. Dear friend, I see you, the you behind you, not for anything you've done or anything you're gonna do. I don't stop to say it enough, but I believe in you. And if you could see yourself from my view, you'd believe it too. That's why I'm giving you the gift that I'm receiving too, a message to remind you when you're lost or feeling blue. A mantra to repeat when times are tough, because no matter who we are always enough. It's a silent prayer I'm sending for the world's mental health. I wear this symbol for myself and as a bond to someone else. It's a blessing and a gentle push to never give up, because no matter who you are enough. So this charity gives 100% of profits to mental health organizations to help people around the world. It's brand new. And feedback or hum probably, William, because Guatemala does not have good grounding. And I've tried everything to get rid of it. So I apologize for that. I need to download that option to help filter it. Anyway, so it was very great to support this charity, to get to meet one of the co-founders and participate in this event. It was really, really powerful. And they gave us a bracelet. And when you get the bracelet, you get one bracelet, so you have the reminder, and you have another bracelet to give to someone else and a copy of that poem. So you get to keep one bracelet and the poem and share it with someone else. And one by one, we can change the world. We can help more people realize they are enough. They're not broken. They don't need fixing. We just need to clear the decks a little. And that's all what I'm about teaching. Like, I'm not teaching you this. I'm not sharing because there's something wrong or you need to fix something. And let me say hi to the beautiful Sharon Rose Winfield. Thank you from Phoenix. It's awareness, and then we can clear the junk. We can clean our lenses, right? Whatever lens we're looking at through the world through, it's clouded. Maybe they're not even the right lenses. Maybe they're the lenses we inherited from somebody else. I find a lot of the strife and things it's inherited, right? When this group doesn't like that group or that group doesn't like this group, it's inherited. They learned it from their parents, from their grandparents, and it's a cycle that unless we do something, it continues. And the programs that the things that MLK did to change, the programs that came out of that, those were positive moves in a lot of ways. Like anything, they hit some roadblocks, they had some difficulties, but that's human life, right? We are navigating this thing and trying to do the best we can. And sometimes we mess it up. We're human. We have to give ourselves grace. We have to give each other grace and change our thinking, because we're not feeling our circumstances. We're feeling our thinking, our understanding. So when we are feeling angry, we're not angry at the thing, we're angry about our thinking about the thing. And I'm not saying that to discount. There's a lot of things that make me angry. Yesterday here in Guatemala, the gangsters attacked all across the country. They attacked and killed police officers because they were angry at the government. And it's horrific. And my wife was crying because we have a lot of contacts, a lot of connections who are police officers, and she was heartbroken. And my little boy, Angel, was wondering, why is mommy crying? And of course, we want to protect him from the graphic part of it. But again, it's this. So if one person hears what I share and changes their thinking and changes the way they treat someone else, that's a win in my book. All right. On to our topic today, which is you're not burnt out, you're spiritually malnourished. Now, I want to put a qualification in there. Everyone is spiritual in some level. Even an atheist is spiritual. We're not talking about religion, this one or that one or the other one. We're talking about spiritual. One of my mentors said, we are all spiritual beings living a human experience, right? We can all admit there's something outside of ourselves that we don't understand. So that's what we're talking about, is that spiritually at our core, we're malnourished. And I would present it like this. Most people think they're burnt out or they're burning out. And what I would say is they're actually experiencing malnutrition. Because if rest alone fixed it, you could be fine. Perhaps you've slept more, you've taken more time off, you've tried to slow down. But yet, it still doesn't feel, it feels thin, it feels dull, you feel disconnected. Because burnout isn't always about doing too much. It's often about doing what no longer feeds you. And fatigue is more a signal of misalignment than overexertion. All right, so what is nourishment? How do we nourish ourselves spiritually at the deepest levels? It's not self care, it's not indulgence, it's not rest hacks. It's repeated contact with what gives you life back. When my actions are disconnected from meaning, truth, or inner authority, it drains my energy, even if my calendar is looking reasonable. This can look like responsible but not inspired, being capable but feeling that hollow feeling needed but unseen. Energy doesn't come from rest alone. It comes from resonance. So my question to you, where are you functioning well but feeling quietly empty? I'll repeat that. Where are you functioning well but feeling quietly empty. It's just not doing it for you. This malnutrition, how do we spot it? How do we recognize it? It's tiredness that all the sleep won't fix. You can sleep extra hours, you can sleep in late, it just never fixes it. Feeling irritable and you don't know why. You're like, why am I so irritable? You don't understand. Like, I'm just irritable. Like, why? You can feel emotionally flat. You lose your curiosity. You demonstrate that competence, but it's just like a automaton. You're just doing this thing that you're really good at because you can just do it with your eyes closed, but you don't even feel alive. And I would say that's not laziness, and it's not even a motivation issue. It's underfed life. So the question to ask yourself, what drains you the most right now, even if you're good at it? And I've gone ahead and shared that in the chat so you can take time and process that. Competence hides starvation, and it can do it for a long time. I know because I lived it. So, you know my structure. Where does it come from? Where did we learn to do this, to survive on these little scraps? Most of us weren't taught to nourish ourselves. We were taught to be useful. We learned rules like being responsible keeps me safe. Being needed gives me my worth, my value. Being productive equals belonging. So we learn to feed on approval or obligation or performance. And it works until it doesn't. Once again, I want to reiterate this. You're not broken for feeling empty. You're undernourished from an outdated menu. So, next question comes, what did you learn to consume instead of listening to yourself? Absolutely, Jean Luc. Because you have to evaluate why you're doing nothing. Are you doing nothing? Are you actually resetting? Are you renewing yourself? Are you getting energy from it? Or are you just like, I'm going to do nothing because I don't know what else to do? And good morning, Lisa Vitale Hess. Thank you for joining, and John Luke. I appreciate each and every one of you joining this live. All right, Meryl's favorite part, science time. Why does our body go flat? Your nervous system responds not only to workload, but also to incongruence. When you repeatedly override the signals of your own body, your own system is giving you, when you stay loyal to roles, even though you've outgrown them, or when you say yes, and inside you shrink a little, the body adapts. It learns to conserve energy. And what we see this as is you feel fatigue, you feel foggy, you feel disengaged, and you get that emotional dullness. Like the thing that used to make you excited, you used to get excited, you used to love doing it, you do it now, and you're like, meh. When life stops being feeling meaningful, the body stops offering the fuel. So, what do we do? Annie, that's a shame on you, Annie. So, my first practice today is, we'll call it the nourishment audit. Now, this isn't about quitting anything. I'm not asking you to stop anything. I'm not asking you to cut out anything. It's just about noticing. The first thing we want to do is name the drain. What currently takes more from you than it gives back? So that's the drain. What is the thing that's draining your energy? And it's not giving you a return on investment. 2, name the aftertaste. How do you feel after doing that? Not how do you feel during it, after. 3, what's the cost? What are you slowly losing by continuing this and not changing? And 4, name one feed. What is one small thing that restores aliveness, not productivity? Now, this nourishment that we want, it doesn't require permission. It just requires self-honesty. Right? Answer those questions with honesty to yourself. This isn't about, answering to your therapist or your coach or your mentor or your best friend or your spouse. This is for you. Get honest with yourself. Those 4 questions. What currently takes more from you than it gives back? How do you feel after doing it? What are you slowly losing by continuing it? And what is one small thing that will restore your aliveness? Our second practice, the 2-chair dialogue. So, like before, imagine your 2 chairs, or if you like, get 2 actual chairs. You don't have to move, but you can if you want. The key is the perspectives, the internal orientation, right? Being in one chair versus the other. For some people, it's better to actually sit in 2 different chairs. You know yourself best. So the first chair is the responsible self. And you're going to speak from the part of you that keeps things running. It might be yeah, exactly, Sharon. So you can prompt with, it could start like, my job is to, or if I stop, this happens. People rely on me for, or to. The risk of choosing myself is. And then name it aloud. This part learned that survival comes from, as an example, being reliable. Then we switch. We go to the other chair, the other perspective, the nourished self. This is the part of you that actually knows what feeds you. Some ideas. What I miss is, what drains me the most is, what gives me life back is, if I were honest, I need. This voice is likely going to be quieter because it hasn't been rewarded. And Stanley, welcome. So that first voice will be loud. It's used to speaking up. This second voice might be softer. You might have to listen a little carefuler. Is that even a word? Carefuler? More careful? So the dialogue might go something like this. The responsible self says, I'm afraid that if I listen to you, we'll lose these connections, or we'll lose whatever it is you might feel you could lose. The nourished self might say, I'm not asking to destroy our life. I'm asking to stop disappearing. You can even do this from the nourished self. Ask the question to the responsible self. What are you trying to protect by keeping things as they are? From the from the responsible self to the nourished self, what would happen if you were fed before everything else? All right. Let's center. Let's come back to center. And I'll share this with you. Burnout happens because not responsibility drives nonstop and nourishment doesn't get its turn. It's not a battle, it's a negotiation. In honor of Dr. King, right? His whole thing was, let's change things without violence. This is an internal negotiation, non violent. Think of it this way. Ask yourself, or say this to yourself: one small way I can feed myself try again. One small way I can feed myself without abandoning my responsibilities is. This isn't about big promises. This is about precision over drama. All right, so now we've looked at these two parts and we want to bring them back together because you're one person, I'm one person, and we operate best when the parts are integrated. So you can reflect on this. The old rule I lived by is, I will put that in the chat. And then follow that up with, the new rule I'm willing to test is. No, no. You're going to have to wait. As an example, the old rule might be, I must be needed to be valuable. And the new rule, I'm valuable even when I choose what feeds me. Because here's what I want you to know. Energy returns when self-abandonment stops. Right? It's not about doing more. It's not about more rest. When we align with who we are, when we stop abandoning ourselves, we stop shrinking ourselves, the energy comes back. As I said at the beginning, this is about clearing the clutter, clearing the decks, as we used to say in the military. Now, is it Dr. Stanley? I don't know. Stanley and Leslie were talking about resilience. And we all know, and no disrespect, but the truth is we don't need more resilience. We need better nourishment. Right? Resilience is valuable and it's important because it keeps us moving forward. It keeps us bounce back faster when we fall. But wouldn't it be nice to not need that resilience, to nourish ourselves now so that we don't hit the floor and have to bounce back? So I think it's two parts. Resilience lets us bounce back faster, nourishment prevents the fall. Are we going to hit it every time? No. There are going to be times where we're not having a good day, we didn't get enough sleep, we're hungry, right? I taught this before, the HALT: hungry, angry, lonely, tired. Those four things, forget it. Don't try to do anything. Fix those first, right? If you're hungry, get some nourishment, physical, mental, spiritual. If you're hungry, get the nourishment you need. Angry, figure out why you're angry. What's the boundary that's been crossed? Maybe it's an external, someone outside of you that crossed the boundary. Perhaps it's a boundary you've crossed with yourself. But usually that's why we're angry. Lonely, find somebody to connect with. Meet up with an old friend, make a new friend, connect with another human being at a soul level, and it will change your state. Tired, get some rest. That might be, relaxing for a day. That might mean going to bed earlier, sleeping later, whatever. Get the rest. Take care of hungry, angry, lonely, tired, and then address the rest. Burnout is not the enemy. It's just your system begging for a different type of fuel. So maybe today surfaced a negotiation that you've been feeling the need to work through. Maybe it's been for a long time. I have the identity clarity call to help you step through that, to work through it without the force, without guilt. So I'd love to speak with you, help you refocus, get more aligned, find ways to nourish yourself better so that you can have the energy, you can be running on the right fuel. It makes me think of my father-in-law. He had a nice Buick, and he always put premium in it because he felt premium was the best, right? You pay more, it's better fuel. But the actual recommendation says, unless the car says premium only, don't put premium because it won't help anything. You need the right fuel. Later in my life, I had a Mazda Miata, and it specifically said minimum 91 octane. Money was tight one time, and I said, it's gas. Gas is gas, right? Gas is gas. I put regular gas in. And at first, it's like, hey, it's working. And then it started running ugly, like coughing and no power. I'm like, okay, understood. It needs that 91 octane. You're the same. I'm the same. We need the right fuel. And the fuel needs to be clean. Because that's the other thing. I've had cars where you get dirt with a diesel. Try getting water in your diesel fuel. That motor will not run right. So what is the water in your fuel, or what's the octane level that you need? And look at that and nourish yourself with the right fuel, physically, mentally, spiritually. Thank you all for listening. At this point, let's see if there are some comments I need to fill follow up on. So this is a good one from Sharon. Handing over the burdens, surrendering. Yes, definitely. By surrendering, by letting go, we can get what's meant to come. But we tend to have a death grip on these old roles and responsibilities. So do the work, evaluate where are the things you're holding on to that you can surrender. Maybe you can pass it on to someone else, but they don't belong to you. And Jean Luc had shared this earlier. I commented it at that point. Whether you're push, 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 nonstop, or you're doing nothing, if you're not aligned, if you don't have everything integrated and you're following the wrong path, you can still be tired. You can feel fatigue and foggy. Sharon shares this toil spirit, obligatory, busy. I don't even like to say that word anymore. That dirty S word and the C word that we use. Exactly, Jean. The chips might be good. The chips are very tasty. My wife loves chips. Stanley, thank you for dropping by. Kenneth, I think that's the shortest comment I've ever seen you add. Where's my nourishment that I usually get from Kenneth? Jean Luc, this analogy, yeah, spiritually malnourished. Proactive versus reactive. Yeah. We can learn to react and respond. React is like the one we want to avoid. We learn to respond, but being proactive is even better. 100% agree, Sharon. Anger is just information. And sometimes, if we embrace the anger, it can be our fuel, right? Going back to the car analogy, they sell those bottles of supplements. We'll call them supplements. We take supplements too. You put that in the car and it cleans the pistons or whatever, or gives it a little boost so that the motor can run better. There's the Kenneth comments I'm used to. Yes. Running ugly, running dirty, not very delectable, scrumptious, delicious, tasty, edible, or good. All right. 20 minutes left. I am going to share the link. I would love to hear from anybody who's willing to come up on stage. You do not have to have your video on. You can be audio only if that works better for you. But share your takeaways, your thoughts around the topic, maybe your own experiences of changing the fuel to the right fuel, learning to nourish yourself at the deep soul spirit level. Don't be shy. I don't bite. Neither does the audience. Chips, candy, cookies, cakes, all of that might be tasty, not very good. The same thing, like social media can be a drain, right? It can be bad nourishment. The language, the words we use with ourselves, the old voices in our head that aren't even ours, right? They're a parent, a teacher, or someone else who's in there saying things. Like that's one thing I've learned to do is when you hear the voice, question it. Is this my voice or is this the voice I've adopted that I've installed? My dad's voice, my mother's voice, my teacher's voice, or somebody else's, society's voice, culture's voice, the media's voice. Nobody, nobody. And I know there's a bit of a lag on LinkedIn. I don't know how bad it is lately. Thank you, Jean Luc. There's that delay.
Hi there, Sean.
Hello, how are you?
Doing good.
Now, your background, I think that is a wishful background because I know where you're at.
No, this is just a background that was given. I don't want our LinkedIn friends to see my mess that's behind me.
I can appreciate that. I was doing a podcast interview back in November or early December, I don't remember, and we were both in a hotel room, and my studio doesn't allow virtual backgrounds. So we're both going like, what do? We got this hotel room mess. So we switched to Google Meet because at least there was ability to change the background.
So just to add a little bit more on my last comment about the chips. And the reason why I put it in quotes is because it's both the eating kind and the physical, the chips meaning money. Just because the money's good doesn't mean it's gonna nourish you.
Right. Or the accolades, right?
Well, yeah, that's why putting the chips in quotes adds all the different analogies that you can
Dimensions.
put chips to.
And they can all feel good or taste good in the moment.
It's always in the moment.
But
Because
what we're looking for is long-term nourishment. Right?
Exactly. And I came to realize this malnourishment, and that's why I mentioned to you that I'm going to use this from now on. I really like that play on words, and because it's not just a play, it's not just an analogy, it's really descriptive. And basically, I learned it in my last two jobs. I in the about 5 years ago, I worked for architects as a architectural drafter. The thing is that I was not just an architectural drafter. I was their drafter. I was their IT technician. I was their administrative assistant. I was their jack of all trades. I actually repaired the coffee machines. I don't even drink coffee.
I can appreciate that and resonate because in my closet I have a t-shirt, right? Been there, done that. I've got the t-shirt.
And so I left that after 10 years. I worked for them for 10 years. Then I went to work for a friend of mine. He had just been hired as a director, and he actually left, but I stayed for the new director. And that's when I realized the new director couldn't nourish me correctly, and he didn't know how. And so I left there again. And now I am really thinking about how I want to feed myself.
Bingo. That's exactly what I was thinking of. Because, like, as you said that, a lot of times we look outside, right? Like, we had a great manager, director, whatever, who fed us, right? Their energy was infectious and charged us up. And then things change and it's not there. My wife went through this cycle. She had the non-nourishing leader who she prayed every day, like, change this job, either change her or move me to another place, right? Like, but this is not working. So then she got a new manager who was very nourishing and like the dream manager, focused and helped develop the team, like, was a real leader. And then she left and another one came and it was the same thing. So my wife was like soaring, because she was hooked directly to the source. And then that person left and a new one came in and it was back to square one. It was the drainer, the non-nourisher. But I what I learned from that, and I think of my son, he's 8 years old, and over the last several years, he's required one of us to provide his nourishment. But now he's 8. He understands using the stove safely. He's actually had cooking classes.
Oh, that's
So
cool.
he's learned to make chicken nuggets and bake brownies and tacos and all kinds of things. So, he's like, I'm hungry. I'm like, there's the kitchen, there's the fridge. You know what to do. If you want something outside your realm of capabilities, of course I will step in and help. Or like this morning, he cooked eggs. He's like, I'm okay whipping the eggs. I'm okay heating the pan up, putting the butter in, cooking the eggs, putting the salt and pepper, whatever else. He's like, but I don't crack eggs. I said, okay, well, I can crack the eggs for you. But I think that's the point, right? Is we need to, yes, it's great to have people around us who nourish us. But in the end, it's my responsibility to nourish myself.
Yeah. Anyone else want to come up and
Well, we've got like 6 minutes left. Yeah, and I totally saw that when I was at the event in San Diego. I my clock was shifted because I went from Central Time to Pacific Time. So I was waking up at 3 a.m. local time, which was normal for me. That's my normal wake up time in Central. But because of like caffeine and adrenaline, that's what I was running on, because it was so warm and people were just feeding me so much, and the environment. I was up till 10, 11 local time, which is like midnight, 1 a.m. for me, which is not typical. So when I got home, it's like, whew, I was done. had nothing left because all that extra energy source was gone. So I can totally appreciate that being in the right environment, just or like the way I know you, Jean Luc, our inspired coffee on Thursdays. Those always energize.
Yeah, no, Thursday morning is a good way to start the day.
Well, I would say there's two things that I get really excited about every week. Monday events like Leslie's before and this one, and Thursday morning with the Inspired Coffee crew.
Yeah, I only have that constantly the Stefan's coffee group. I don't have anything else that's regular.
Well, you're always welcome on Monday Mindshift.
Well, I do see your post on LinkedIn, and now I know that you also invite guests to come up and be present with you
Yes,
on your chats.
I welcome willing victim. I mean guests.
Well, I'm willing to be your weekly victim if you want.
Yeah. Well, and you know, I had a co-host at one point, the lovely Sharon. We talked about co-hosting, but she's had some challenges of connecting to Restream, so we haven't worked that out. I know it's tricky. It can be tricky.
So on that, my friend, I'll see you
Thank
Thursday.
again. I appreciate you. See you Thursday.
And
As
to
they
everyone,
as they say in the Middle East, inshallah,
okay.
which means God willing.
And to everyone that's watching, think about what you eat. And how
I
you
would say think about what you consume, as I said. What you put in your mouth, what you put in your eyes, what you put in your ears, what you put in your thoughts. Because it all can feed you or malnourish you if you don't get the right foods.
even if it's good at the taste.
Right. Or even if it is useful for a moment, you know, like the octane boost. You can't keep putting the octane boost in because you'll blow up the car. And I think of that because I go to the local shop near my house, and there's a lot of people that come out during like morning or afternoon from the factories around because it's an industrial park. 80 to 90% of them are drinking things like, it's not Red Bull, but it's like Red Bull. It's all these energy drinks, and that's an octane boost. And yeah, it might get you through a season, but it's really bad if you're living on that.
I done that too.
I did it once and did not sleep for 12 hours. I was driving. I drove from Arizona to San Francisco at 10 o'clock at night. I actually made a concoction that I took Red Bull and I tasted it and I'm like, yeah, I don't even like it. And so I chased it with Mountain Dew. I drove like this 12 hours, didn't blink. Nah, not doing that again. Anyway, thanks again, Jean-Luc. Thank you, everyone, for joining us, sharing your thoughts, your comments, your questions. As always, you are greatly appreciated. And remember, you are enough. I am enough. We are enough. Take care. Have an amazing week. Hopefully I do get to join Angie's show on Thursday, Meryl, or some of the other ones. I don't always get the chance, or anything else. See you all around. Stay warm up north, stay cool down south. Keep shining your light, as I believe it was Sharon said. I definitely remember someone saying that. We change the world, we change the environment by shining our light in spite of what's going on. And that brightens the world. Because if you think of a dark room, if you can imagine the darkest room and you light a single candle, that candle takes away darkness. And if that candle is drawn near to another candle and it lights, there's less darkness. So by sharing our light and lighting another's candle, we can bring light to the world and chase away the darkness. Thank you all. Have a great one, and we'll see you next week.
In the shadow of a mirror, where the past holds tight, he walks in with fire, igniting the night. A true seeker's vision, he shines through the black. With every step forward, he won't look back, telling tales of struggle, the masks we wear. We're bound by the labels, lost in the snare. Time to break free from those chains of doubt. With his voice like